Okay, so this is a cross section of our spinal cord. And we're gonna start off with going over the protective layers of it, which is kind of like the meninges of the spinal cord. So we have the outermost layer, which is the epidural space. So if you were getting an epidural, this is where they stick the needle at, and that space of fatty tissue surrounding your spinal cord, which is the epidural space. Then starting with number 9 here, we have the dura mater. We have the subdural space, which is this black line here. Then we have the arachnoid mater, which is number 11. Okay. We also have the subarachnoid space, which would be in here. The last little protective layer that we have is the denticulate ligaments, which is right there, right here, and right here, that anchor the pia mater. So the pia mater is it translates to gentle mother, and it just hugs the spinal cord. So getting into the internal anatomy of the spinal cord, we have the posterior side and the anterior side, okay? So just so that you can point those out. We have the anterior, so anterior side, anterior median fissure. The posterior median sulcus, which is, right here. Posterior median sulcus. We also have the horns. So I'm going to show you on this side here. We have the dorsal horn, or the posterior gray horn. We have the lateral gray horn and the anterior gray horn, or the ventral horn. Connecting the two horns is the gray commissure. The gray commissure allows for the two sides of your spinal cord, so the right side and the left side, to communicate. This white area right here, so this is your posterior white column. You have your lateral column and your anterior column. The central canal runs right through the center of our spinal cord. The posterior root ganglion would be here. Posterior root ganglion. Then we have, or this could be also called the dorsal root ganglion. From that we have the dorsal root and the ventral root, our anterior root. We have the dorsal and ventral ramus, so dorsal ramus and ventral ramus. From that we have the rami communicantes and the sympathetic chain ganglia. So that covers all of our labeling for the cross section of the spinal cord.